Hello, I'm Rebecca Lynch, Development and Grants Director with ArtsAVL. I'm going to give a brief overview of the ArtsAVL Arts Build Community Grant. We're excited to be offering this grant opportunity for the fiscal year 26. We're pleased to again have support for this grant from Buncombe County, as well as Pete and Cindy Perez. Since 2018, the Arts Build Community Grant has supported innovative public art projects that inspire diverse groups of participants to be more active, involved, and civically engaged by creating together. Public art, for the purpose of this grant, shall be defined as any permanent or temporary work of art created or led by artists or craftspeople. The project or event must be located in a space that is accessible for the public to experience. Public art can include, but is not limited to, murals, sculpture, community art, digital new media, performances, and festivals, as long as it is open to the public. This year, Buncombe County government is again providing funding support for this grant through the Arts and Culture Block Grant awarded to ArtsAVL. Grants for fiscal year 26 will range from $1,000 to $2,500, and the deadline to apply is July 21st, 2025. The grant timeline, the application will open on June 23rd, with the deadline for applications to be submitted by July 21st. By late August, awards will be announced, with funds distributed in early September. If awarded a grant, a final report will be due by May 31st, 2026. To be eligible to apply for the Arts Build Community Grant, organizations must have been in operation for at least 1 year and be physically located in Buncombe County. Priority for this year is given to projects focused on community recovery and revitalization following Hurricane Helene, and/or programs impacting residents based in low-income neighborhoods and/or local communities in need. The arts must be centered in the proposed project, and funded projects must be free and open to the public and include some aspect of community engagement. Fundraising events are not eligible. For-profit applicants are encouraged to partner with nonprofit organizations on your project. For projects in partnership with schools or after-school programs, we ask that you please see our Arts for Schools grant program. Organizations may not receive more than one ArtsAVL grant for the same project within a single year. One exception to this is in the case of events supported by our Event Support Grant. Events supported through the Event Support Grant may also be eligible for an Arts Build Community Grant for the same event if all the eligibility does line up, but are not eligible for any additional grant categories. Funds are for projects that occur between July 1st, 2025 and June 30th, 2026. This can be a reimbursements for projects occurring during this funding period that have already taken place if this is something that is happening early on in the year in July and August before award notifications have been sent out, or for projects that have not yet occurred. But importantly, the project must be completed by June 30th, 2026. Examples of allowable expenses include professional artist fees and travel, space rental, venue rental fees, advertising, marketing, and publicity. We certainly want folks to attend these programs and projects, website and electronic media, art supplies, costumes, sets and props, music, and equipment rental. Your application will be considered on the following categories: the completeness of the application, the feasibility of the completion of the project within the allotted time frame, accessibility, the arts and cultural alignment of the project, how arts focused and centered is it, the impact on Helene recovery, impact on underserved communities, and the level of community engagement. The process for how these applications are reviewed is as follows. Applications are first screened by staff for completeness, eligibility, and feasibility. Is application complete, or did we have to ask for some follow-up questions? Is the entire project eligible? Is only part of the project eligible? Will the project be able to be completed within the deadline, or we'll need to work with you to make sure that that happens? Again, these are ranked from a 0, 5, or 10 based on how well they answer to those questions, and applications receiving a 0 on any of these categories or a total score below 15 will not progress to the next level. And so then a selection panel of community volunteers will then score all applications based on the following criteria. Application completeness. Do you feel like you have a good understanding of the proposal based on the application, or is it missing key details? How confident are you in the ability of the organization to complete the proposal project, considering the scope, time restrictions, et cetera, and other resources needed for successful completion? How accessible is the proposed project for individuals with disabilities, including physical, visual, hearing, and cognitive impairment? The question that's asked in the application for this is, please share your accessibility statement and demonstrate how the location where your program service takes place, including online spaces, is or will be accessible. And we also include a link to a brief accessibility checklist provided by the NEA for you all to look at to do there. And some tips and examples include that accommodations should be easy to find, clearly state whether notice is required for accommodations and contact information for those. And examples of offered accessibility, accessible parking, restrooms, seating, wheelchairs being provided, an option to be seated early, captioning or assisted listening devices, sign language interpretation, audio descriptions, large print or braille, a tactile tour, sensory friendly options, as well as relaxed performances. How centered are the arts and culture in this proposal? And again, as I said, our priorities this year are around projects that support community recovery and revitalization following the impact of Helene. This could be addressing health and wellness, emotional trauma, physical and or economic impact. And then the other priority, of course, is the impact on underserved communities. How much does this program impact residents based in low income communities or local neighborhoods and communities in need? And again, with public art, it's really important for there to be a community engagement as part of the project. Thus, it's the nature of public art. So how much does this program involve community engagement? So a panel of 3 to 5 volunteers that are familiar with our community and our arts and culture community are selected to review the applications and make final funding recommendations. They review and score each application using a scoring spreadsheet and instructions provided by ArtsAVL. ArtsAVL then combines and ranks those staff, and then the panel meets together to review the combined scores, discuss applications, go over any questions or concerns, and then a proposed final funding recommendation is created at the end of that meeting. For awards. As part of the communication process, every applicant's combined scores, as well as any additional notes or feedback from the panel, is given to the applicant with their final notification letter. If awarded an ArtsBuild Community Grant, your organization will enter into a contractual agreement with ArtsAVL. We do require that you keep ArtsAVL staff informed of any project milestones and particularly any changes. We are invested in your success and would like to be a part of sharing your story. And if you do have to make changes, we understand things happen between the time you apply and maybe by the time you're working on the project. So the earlier you get in touch with us with any changes, the better. And there will be a final report, as I said, due by May 31st. Important to note that late or missing final reports will mean that funding you'll not be eligible for the next grant cycle. For the reporting requirements, you'll be needing to keep track of, in order to report to us, a description of your project process and your results, how the project demonstrated accessibility, the number of participants served and their demographics. Also, very importantly, please collect participant feedback and letters of support during the project, because we do want those qualitative comments received from program participants. Those voices are really important for us to hear and for us to tell the story of how the project came out in our community. We'll also ask that you demonstrate recognition of Arts AVL and Buncombe County government for their support of this grant program. You'll be provided with correct logos, etc., for that to do. And also, as we know, uh, uh, we need to thank the folks that are supporting this grant program so that we can continue to offer it in the community. So we do ask grant recipients to send emails or thank you letters to the Buncombe County Commissioners to express their thanks for the continued support of the Arts and Culture Block Grant, which supports this grant program. To apply, it's a Google form. That link is available on our website at artsavl.org/ABC. The Google form will look like this. It's a fairly brief form, but you'll be able to see all of the questions in a preview PDF on that website, artsavl.org/ABC. Before the grant cycle opens, you'll have the opportunity to check the questions. We do strongly recommend that you work in a Word doc or a Google Doc offline, answer those questions offline, and so that when you are ready to submit prior to the deadline, that you are simply copying and pasting your answers into the Google form. And as always, if you need help with your applications or have specific questions, you can email me at rebecca@artsavl.org. Please do email me to set up a time to talk, no phone call, please. And as well, please do reach out to me if you've got questions or concerns well in advance of the grant deadline. We're a small team working very hard on our community and can't guarantee that I'll be available at the last minute to chat. So if you do have questions, I'm happy to talk with you. Please just get those requests in advance. We do have the grant application open for a month, so plenty of time for you to check out the guidelines, check out the applications, and be in touch with any questions. And we certainly look forward to reading your applications and hearing about the wonderful public art projects that you have in mind envisioning for our community in the year ahead. Thank you so much.